I'm gonna ruin your childhood. Have you ever wondered why Patrick is so dumb all the time? Well, it's because Patrick suffers from Down syndrome. His parents loved him but couldn't handle the pain of raising him, so they kicked him out when he was only a child. Patrick became homeless, which is why he lives under a rock. Patrick's parents told SpongeBob to take care of him, and they became best friends ever since. I'm sorry, guys. I'm gonna ruin your childhood. In the show Blue's Clues, have you ever wondered why Steve talks to random objects all the time? Well, it's because Steve is a drug addict and is losing his grip on the real world. The child voices he hears in the background are actually people trying to help him get back to reality. Steve left the show so he could go to rehab. I'm sorry, guys. I'm gonna ruin your childhood. Peter Pan was a crazy psychopath that trapped little kids in Neverland. He killed them before they grew up, which is why they could never leave as adults. Captain Hook was one of the Lost Boys that escaped Neverland, which explains why Peter Pan attacked Captain Hook and fed his arm to the crocodile. Which means, the whole time, Peter Pan was the bad guy. I'm sorry, guys. I'm gonna ruin your childhood. Mother Gothel from Tangled is the evil queen from Snow White. Hear me out. So at the end of Snow White, the evil queen falls off the cliff, but we never really see her die. What happens is she finds the flower from Tangled, which makes her young and beautiful again. Because remember, both of them were obsessed with being young and beautiful. Also, they both have the same dagger. Here's the evil queen with hers, and here's Mother Gothel with hers. They also look very similar in their older states. So what about the famous red apple, you may ask? How come it's in Snow White but not in Tangled? Well, you'd be wrong, because it is in Tangled. When Flynn saves Rapunzel for the second time, he is stabbed by Mother Gothel. Now look at the print that is made on the wall when he slunches over. It's a red apple. I'm sorry, guys. I'm gonna ruin your childhood. In the movie Titanic, have you ever wondered why Jack looks so futuristic? Well, it's because Jack is a time traveler. He was sent back in time to stop Rose from committing suicide. Rose's suicide would cause a delay in the ship's course, ultimately preventing the crash. This would have changed history forever. Jack needed to pretend to love Rose for this to happen. At the end of the movie, he even mentions a roller coaster that didn't even exist yet.
I'm gonna ruin your childhood, part 63. So in one episode of Phineas and Ferb, Dr. Doofenshmirtz actually goes on a date with Phineas and Ferb's mom. Here they are on their date. But what does this mean for Phineas and Ferb, you might think? Well, Dr. Doofenshmirtz is the biological father of Phineas and Candace. Check this out. Both Phineas and Dr. Doofenshmirtz have triangular heads, and they're both very smart and love inventing things. And Dr. Doofenshmirtz and Candace both have very long necks. Sorry bro, but your girl played you. Pretty cool. I'm gonna ruin your childhood, part 31. Tarzan is actually Anna and Elsa's little brother. Let me explain. In the first Frozen movie, you can see Anna and Elsa's parents boarding this ship, which later on we learn and see them perishing, quote unquote, in this shipwreck right here. But they didn't die right away. The ship does go down, but they don't die right away. Anna and Elsa's mom is actually pregnant when they went on the journey, and when all this was happening, she actually gave birth to a little boy named Tarzan. They both get on this raft here and land on a deserted island, until something very bad happens. Both of them actually die because of a jaguar, and leave behind Tarzan. Also, you can put them side by side, Anna and Elsa's parents and Tarzan's parents. They look the same. We all know the rest of the story. Tarzan's raised by these gorillas and becomes the boss he is. If you still don't believe me, it was proven by the director of Frozen. Pretty cool!
I'm gonna ruin your childhood, part 68. Belle and Beast actually got married and had a daughter. And the daughter's name was Jane. You know, Jane from Tarzan? Well, she left her parents to pursue animal research and met Tarzan. And Mrs. Pot and Chip were transformed magically back into their teapot form, which is why we see them right here in Tarzan. They went with Jane to watch over her during her research. Pretty cool.
I'm gonna ruin your childhood, part 20. Linda plus Lawrence equals Ferb, and Doofenshmirtz and Linda equals Phineas, and then that means